I bring the Township of Aleppo workshop meeting of November 13th, 2023 to order at 7 p.m. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
President Jones,
Present.
Vice President Williams,
Present.
Commissioner Dara,
Present.
Commissioner Haluka,
Present.
Commissioner Richard,
Present.
Solicitor Stone.
Here.
This meeting, as all other meetings, will be recorded and uploaded to YouTube. Do I hear a motion to approve the October 16th, 2023 legislative meeting minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Old business, 2024 budget update, Manager Patterson.
I made some final tweaks to the first draft of the budget this afternoon, the first working draft. So the budget committee of George and Judy this year are going to meet this week to go over that first draft. And then I will have the draft, the first official draft to present to the commissioners next week. So you'll get that next week and then have a month to review it and,
Okay.
ask questions, anything like that. It will be adopted in December.
Okay, thank
Oh,
you.
and just upfront, right now, there are no tax increase proposed. That's what everybody likes to hear, so not proposed, this budget does not propose a tax increase.
And on first blush, we're able to continue funding reserves, which is very important. Any other questions? 2023 paving project.
We have a few minor things left to be completed in the ridge, some of the sealing of the joints in the road, both in the center line and in the connections between the roadway and the driveways. We heard that perhaps they had done some of the center line sealing, but not all of it. And we don't know when they're coming back to do that, but we know that, or we expect them to be here tomorrow to start the parking lot project. So tomorrow, the parking lot, we expect them to start mobilizing. So in the very near future, it's gonna be hard to get into the parking lot a few times. So just watch for that. If they close the parking lot, people can park over
Welcome.
in the Public Works garage parking lot over there and then just walk over to the building.
Gotcha.
That stuff is
All right.
phenomenally slippery.
The sealing, the
Yes.
joint seal.
When it gets wet, we were doing ice skating over there on Halloween.
Oh.
Kids were like hitting it, flying across the street. It was really good.
Any other comments regarding paving?
No.
And next week, the legislative meeting will be at the fire hall. Has Chief been advised?
Okay, we clear it with him. It'll be posted on the building, it'll go out in the digest at the end of this week. It's on the website, but we just,
And I just spoke to them. Judy confirmed tonight.
confirmed they'll be ready.
New business, zoning services proposal.
You have in your packet the zoning services proposal that's through the Quaker Valley COG. And so what we are looking in the market for is a zoning officer, someone who will review the zoning permit applications, and then will also be the enforcement officer for zoning violations. So Harlan reviewed it, and he said he has a couple comments of the slight changes in terms at the very end of the agreement. So it's, hopefully we'll have those run through the COG and back so that this could be voted on next week.
Thank you. School bus stop sign.
We received a request from the Quaker Valley School District for a school bus ahead sign, or school bus stop ahead sign, over on Duff Road near the intersection of Hill Road. There are some parents over there who felt that that sign would be important to have. Duff Road is a state road, so PennDOT controls all the signs on Duff Road. And so the school district went to them, and they said, PennDOT said they need the request to come from the municipality for the PennDOT to then initiate a study about whether that sign is appropriate. At the end of that determination, PennDOT doesn't put up the signs, either the municipality or the school district puts up the signs. So we will work with Quaker Valley School District to figure out who would put up the school bus
So
ahead
those
sign.
kids will be in college by the time it's on.
I don't know how long the PennDOT review process takes.
Is there a cost to
Yeah.
the study?
No, there's not a cost for to us for the study, there would just be the cost of the sign.
We're not very optimistic.
We're gonna
Group
do a
about
study,
this, aren't we?
study in order to study whether we can study this to put a sign up.
That was good.
So there's really not much to it.
No, we'll vote on that next week, and then I will
Yeah.
send the letter, saying, please do the study.
I think
Okay,
that
and then
we can-
several years ago, we agreed to contribute $40,000 a year to the authority. And that's ongoing, and next week we'll vote to approve that.
Okay.
Option-
Mr. President, one small correction on that. We didn't agree to do that. That wasn't an agreement. We adopted a policy.
Good.
And that policy provides that in our discretion, we will review annually, and as we are able, we will make that contribution.
Thank you.
Right.
Okay, and then we have to sign a first option agreement for our police contract.
So the current police contract that we have is a 3-year agreement with 2 option years. And so we would have to notify Ohio Township that we wish to accept the first option year. And the contract requires that we notify them 6 months prior to the end of the contract year. This contract doesn't run on the calendar year, it runs July 1 through June 30th. So we have until December 31st to notify them that we would like to re-up that first option year of the contract. So next week, I can put on the agenda the motion to officially request to re-up that contract.
Any questions? Any comments, Mr. Solicitor?
No, there is some urgency due to the timing and the deadline. So other than that, and Gwen and I have discussed that, but it is coming up at next week's meeting, so you'll be within your deadline.
And Gwen, would you give some background on the next motion?
Sure, the next motion says motion to adopt a resolution for plan revision for new land development approving the sewage planning module for trap subdivision number 1. That's the language required. What this is a resolution of the township saying that the township is aware that they are applying for sewage permission from the DEP. So we did this, probably in July, I think it was, for a different one on a different location on Redgate Road. So this is the formal action that the board has to take, this resolution, in order for this whole packet to be then sent by the applicant's engineer to the DEP for sewage approval.
Good.
That's what we're here for, is since we're paying,
Wait, one second.
yeah, that's what we're here for, and since we're
Excuse
paying,
me, could you sign in, please?
sorry,
Name and address.
I guess you gotta get signed on.
And then could you introduce yourself to the camera?
I'm Jim Trapp, my son he's the one that's building the house,
Good.
okay. Since we're paying a mortgage on this, is there any way we can expedite this so we can get our occupancy permit?
Yeah.
I think that's what we're doing.
We,
So,
Go-
you want me to
we-
do it or you gonna do it?
well, yeah, we are prepared. We're gonna pass the resolution today, or tonight, which will allow your engineer to submit this to DEP as early as tomorrow. And in the meantime, what we've decided is that we will authorize the code officer to issue a temporary occupancy permit, provided, number one, that you turn in the the planning module that we are going to authorize tonight. And make sure that he sends it in to DEP. Number two, that when DEP approves it, that you let us know that it has been approved by DEP. And number three, that you have the county plumbing department inspect whatever connection there is to the sewer system, the tap, and make sure that the county has inspected and approved it. Those are the three conditions.
Okay, so you're gonna do those 3 conditions, or we are, and then, But they can go ahead and move in, no?
Not, well, as soon as those are met. So Bruce is our building inspector, he'll come out and do any finals that you have or that you're ready for.
Alright,
And then once he does that and he sees, he or we, whoever you wanna send it to, the proof of that this was submitted to DEP, not the approval, we know that's not coming, but your engineer will get a receipt saying it was submitted. So we would need to see the proof of the submission, the proof of the county plumbing inspection, and then the other condition is that within 90 days you get the DEP approval or come back and talk to us about that. So,
okay.
so once, and then Bruce would be able to have that language added to the temporary occupancy permit as soon as the other stuff is met, so then he could issue that temporary occupancy.
So we have to contact our engineer Scheffler.
So I'll be talking to him tomorrow to
Okay.
get all this sent over to him.
Alright,
Once I get all this stuff sent over to him tomorrow morning, he'll be able to submit it, I think, to DEP, as long as it's complete on his end.
okay. Alright, that's great.
And then at that point, you're stating that they'd be able to get the temporary occupancy permit?
As long as it meets all the other
Right.
stuff that Bruce controls that I don't know
Right.
anything about, like electrical inspections or anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Now, the inspection from the county, has that not been done already? The
The
plumbing?
plumbing inspection.
Excuse me, I hate to do this, but could you stand and introduce yourself, because you're on camera?
Hi, I'm Joyce Trapp. I'm Jim's Trapp's wife, Richard's mother, and Bruce Spencer.
Good.
so yes, I'm sorry, Joyce, what was your question?
Has the county
Oh,
already
the
been out?
county has already done their plumbing inspection, just whatever receipt they gave you, proof that that inspection passed. That's all that we would need to see.
That would have to be from the contractor. He didn't give me no.
But you should, they give you something, so you'll be able to
Yeah.
get that. Yep, you'll be, if it's already done, you'll be able to get
Okay, and
that.
you're gonna talk to Scheffler.
I'm gonna talk to him tomorrow morning, yep,
Okay.
with all the actual
So the
paperwork
only
here.
thing we're responsible, or they were responsible for, is to show you proof of the plumbing inspection?
Proof of the plumbing inspection, and Scheffler will show proof that this was submitted to DEP. Okay, that'll come from him because he has to put it into their DEP system.
Okay.
So once that's done, you can occupy, and then we're gonna wait 90 days to see that DEP issues the final approval. So knowing DEP, that may not be enough time. So if it's not, all we're asking is that you come back, and if you don't have DEP approval within 90 days, we work out an extension.
Sounds good.
Anything else?
No, thank you.
Gwen and Harlan have been on this case, so I think they've done a good job.
I'll just go ahead with the motion then?
Yep.
Okay, a motion to adopt resolution for plan revision for new land development, approving the sewage planning module for trap subdivision number 1.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
We have it.
We have a donation request from the Quaker Valley Ambulance Authority.
Yes, they send out, I think they're doing their annual fund drive, and they sent out a request like, some of the other agencies do about, where everybody's willing to make a
That's their
contribution.
routine.
Their routine
That's their routine
annual fund drive.
What have we donated in years
I
past?
don't believe we have donated to this,
Okay.
fund. We have the arrangement with them that helps, with the township, the contract with them, but I don't believe that the township has donated to the fund drive in the past. So I can put that on the agenda for next week if somebody wants to give me a
Do we
number.
donate to the fire department fund drive?
We did.
Commissioner Haluka, do you have any input?
Well, it's a very similar fund drive to the fire department, so,
What did we give the fire
what do we get
department?
to the fire department?
Don't ask.
Thanks for coming.
I know, sorry.
Oh, you don't wanna stick
Good luck.
around for this part?
Yeah.
It didn't hurt as much as you thought, huh?
Can you just
I
hold
can
for
look,
next
I'll
week?
look that up and match, and if you'd like me to match that number, I can just look that number up and I'll just get it out to you in an email, what we gave. It's like
That
250,
sounds,
something like
The
That
fire
sounds
department is
fair.
a sister organization
Yeah.
to EMS, and so if we did the fire department, it's kind of a smack in the face though.
Okay, good transition, because we can discuss our meeting today.
So, I'll get that number,
Okay.
and we'll have that on the agenda for next week. Let me write that down. So, we were approached by, the members of the volunteer fire company. We have a contract with the Aleppo Township Volunteer Fire Company for fire protection services. This contract started in 2005, and it's had an annual rollover clause every year. They also have a contract with Swickley Heights Borough, and they provide fire protection in Swickley Heights. Earlier this year, they renegotiated, they had a similar contract with them, and they renegotiated with Swickley Heights. They approached, and with the cost of living and the expense of all their equipment and everything, they asked for an increase in the annual percentage of the contract. So our contract right now is a 2% increase per year, and so they are requesting a 4% increase per year. And our contract is sitting right now at about $100,000, so that's $1,000 per percent for the increase. So that was their initial request, is that to go from a 2% increase per year to a 4% increase per year. Then with Swickley Heights Borough also, this was a little more complicated. Swickley Heights used to purchase a squad truck for them that was just serves that is for the fire company for all uses. So Swickley Heights no longer wants to own that truck, so they are turning that truck over to the fire company, and then the fire company is purchasing a new one, a replacement one, because this current one is old. And so Swickley Heights offered to fund 50% of the cost of the new one. And so the fire company came to Aleppo and asked if Aleppo would be willing to fund the other 50% cost for this piece of equipment. It's called the Squad, which is the truck that ferries a lot of different firefighters to calls, accidents, fires, lift assists, all the things that they do. So the Swickley Heights contract did give them the 4%, and it gave them $112,500 over 5 years. And so the cost of the new Squad is $225,000. So if we were to mirror that Swickley Heights contract, it would be $112,500 over 5 years, which equals, I think, $22,500 or something per budget year for 5 years. So that's what they have come to us to
Plus the
request.
4%.
Plus the 4%.
I think if you recall, when Chief Davis gave a presentation 2 months ago, he noted at least 2 significant problems. One, finding volunteers. It's become very difficult to find volunteers. And they're trying to come up with some incentive package, because they also have to compete with other local fire departments. And then, as an example, a ladder truck, and I'm not familiar with the exact terms, the new one might cost $2.6 million. All of the equipment, whether it's the equipment that's required to service a fire, or whether it's a piece of rolling equipment, that's just skyrocketed in price. So they've really asked us to help them in the short term. This is in essence a 5-year agreement on the 22.5 and a long-term agreement on the 4%. And with that help, they're able to better plan for the long term, because we can all see some long-term issues that are going to take some real thought. So when Gwen and I met with the chief this morning, it was a very good meeting, and I think both of us highly recommend that we do this.
It doesn't make any sense, rather than just 4% for 5 years, have some sort of adjustment one way or the other, depending on what's going on in the economy.
Yeah, I asked the chief if he would go with a COLA, which last year would have been 8%, this year 3.2. The conclusion kind of was it would be too complicated. We just make it a flat 4%. So last year they would have lost, this year they'd win.
Well,
I mean,
they budget out many years ahead for replacement of equipment.
Yeah,
And so without knowing what their income base is, it would make it really difficult to do
well,
that.
2% we were winning. 4%, I think realistically that's going to be about the average COLA. But the chief did say very openly that if we want to make some adjustments to this offer, he's fine. So if we said COLA instead of 4%, it wouldn't be taken poorly.
4% though, I think, or any percentage, gives them a predictability. I'm thinking of how we do it with replacing ambulances, et cetera. It gives them a budgeting predictability that they won't have.
Okay, well, we're not going to vote on this till next week. And it will clearly need some adjustments in the contract.
So yeah, there won't be a contract ready by next week, but if you, next week, if you vote to approve this change in the terms, I can get it budgeted that way, and then the contract can follow.
And then the other thing we did talk about, a commissioner's wife, after Chief's presentation, said maybe we should help the fire department find volunteers and do other things. We agree. So Gwen, the chief, and I talked about doing, not a public relations package, but more or less, did you know? In other words, did you know that your taxes go to support the volunteer fire department? Did you know? You know, explaining to the general public exactly what the fire department is and what it does and what a great service it has. And then perhaps a second section that says, what can you do to help? It could be volunteering, it could be making a contribution, because we think, like most things in government, most of the residents really don't know that simple information.
I can tell you, the most, very few people at Masonic know that, and of course, there's a turnover there. I try to meet with some people over dinner or whatever, and they're just in a quandary, they don't know.
Right. So we're gonna work on that, and
Just
I
a,
asked-
just a suggestion, a lot of people don't know that it's not just fighting fires, but there's a whole administrative side to the operation of a volunteer fire department. And if they have time and they have the skills, they may be able to volunteer administratively. And doesn't necessarily mean you gotta put on the fire equipment and climb the ladder.
And Swickley Heights has agreed to help us with this, so they'll cooperate.
Nice.
Okay, any questions about that? Citizen participation, they all left.
Think participated enough, I guess.
They
Any
got-
other new
They
business
got what they
or
wanted,
Yeah.
and
nothing? We're adjourned.